Hey, man, in the airport, are you not allowed to use the handicap stall?
Why?
I walked in the airport, where were we at? In Denver, and it was a bathroom. It was like a line for the stalls because, I got IBS. The handicap stall was empty, and it was like 3 dudes waiting for the other stalls. And I was like, if nobody handicapped in the bathroom, you can go in the handicap stall.
Yeah.
So I went in the handicap stall, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. When I came out the handicap stall, there was still dudes in line waiting for the stalls, and they would not go in the handicap stall.
That's on them.
That's what I thought. I'm like, man, I
gotta go.
They looking at me funny. I said, man, listen. I was like, is this a rule?
If I ain't taking over for nobody.
If there's nobody handicapped in the room, you can go in the handicap
The other thing is, too, if people got a cane, they'll go in the regular one.
I was like,
Would you park in a handicap spot?
No.
If you're just running in and running out?
No.
I don't park in a handicap
I wouldn't do that.
Like, even if you just run in and run out?
I wouldn't do that.
I park on the curb. I park illegally before I go in the handicap spot.
But I definitely use their toilet.
But that's the thing, bro. It was a line of people, and the handicap stall door was open. And I walked past everybody when the handicap stall.
Man, that is like a California king up in there.
Well, it's nice in there.
Man, it's nice up in there.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought here to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought here to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
Well, fellas, it's Friday, and now we get another opportunity to just chop it up, the 3 of us. This is something that I enjoy doing. I remember when the show started, I was like, man, we could do this every week. And then y'all overruled me because y'all didn't want to talk to me that much. But first of all, we want to give a shout out to NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV for sponsoring this show. That is who this show, or this 3-man Pivot Friday, is brought to you by. Pivot Fam, thank you for pivoting with us. This is FredTaylor. This is Channing Crowder. I am Ryan Clark. Fellas, I'm fired up. If you look at any Instagram, Twitter post, it's about Mike Tomlin and something he did on Hard Knocks. You fell in love with him.
Love Mike.
In his basement, which is weird, in Pittsburgh.
That's my man.
Where we had an opportunity to sit with him. Bro, just watching that show just separates him to me from every coach on that show, most coaches in the league. But I want to talk about Russell Wilson, his resurgence, over 400 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been leading that team. He's been embraced by that team. And after what I saw in Denver, I thought he could be done, Chan. What's kind of your outlook on him becoming Russ that could cook again?
He's playing very well, man, and he's taking that leadership role that we're used to in Seattle. But going back to Mike, man, I know y'all could do it too. You were blessed with Mike Tomlin. Like, that's the craziest thing in the world. But I go back, I've talked about Charlie Strong. I talked about George Edwards. I had other coaches, Mike Nolan was one of those guys that connect with people. It's not just, a lot of coaches look at you like a commodity. This is my linebacker, he needs to make tackles and fill the C gap. This is that. You could tell that Mike, and I saw the videos where you see Sean Payton cussing his ass out over and over again, and you see Mike Tomlin hugging him. You see him over there playing around with Justin Fields, but then you see in Denver, he's sitting there looking at the ground, where people don't really look at ball players, especially multimillionaires, as humans, and some people can't. I didn't know at the time that the reason why I played better for a Charlie Strong or a George Edwards was because they looked at me like a human. I used to go over to George Edwards' house. He was my linebacker coach at Miami. I used to go over his house for Thanksgiving because my family didn't live down there yet. I know his son who went to Duke, who's in the league, works with the league now, his beautiful wife, Jamie. I knew those people. So when he said something to me, it meant more than the guy that's just yelling at me, looking down on me. And for him to go to Pittsburgh and have a Mike Tomlin, and not even the race thing of him being an African-American and Mike being African-American, Mike being a good man and Russ being a good man, and to be able to sit down, that's why I think he's really thriving right now, is because he has somebody that has his back, but that can sit and talk like humans, and it's not what you see Sean Payton doing. Throw the goddamn 7. No, hey, did you see the corner sink? That 7 would be open. It's different ways to talk to people. It's humanity, and there's dictatorship. And now, obviously, I would say Russ thrives under humanity because Pete Carroll was like that. Pete Carroll was a player's coach, a communicator.
A people person.
I'm talking about coaching. I like you said that. A people's person, a person that values human beings. And I think that's why Russ is thriving now, because now he's with another person that enjoys people and has humanity to him. Never met Sean Payton, but the videos I've seen, I think he's a commodity guy, where Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll are human guys.
Yeah, just to add to everything you said, I think you were spot on, Chan. The piece I believe you missed is the relationship factor. You hear all the former Steelers, they talk about the relationships then, as we see that's coming out in Hard Knocks, the clips on social media, and the relationships after your career. When we go back up to Steelers country, with RC, what we're seeing is just this genuine love and connection for each other. And Mike T's just that warm embrace. I think just going back to Russ, though, man, Sean Payton tried to come back in last year after taking a year off to reestablish himself, and that shows a lot of insecurities. And like going back to relationships, in relationships, when you have insecurities, you have a lot of problems. There are going to always be issues arising. So Mike T is not like that. He know who he is. He know how to connect with his players. And because he's very insecure in all of that, he knows how to tap in and push buttons to get the best out of these guys. When we were sitting with Mike T, he said that Russ wanted to run out with the starters. Remember that? And they weren't allowing him to run out with the starters. He knew what was best for Russ at that moment. This ain't about Russ. This is about the team. So backing all of that out, and then Russ having that extra time to deal with the calf injury, he said, all right, who am I? I'm still Mr. Unlimited. I just need my time. I need my time to get back in and show the world. So Russ is playing at an extremely high level, and I think that's due to he doesn't have that extra pressure on him to have to prove to anybody. He doesn't have to, he doesn't have to go back and forth with a head coach. He doesn't have to worry about what the media is saying or thinking. He's just going out there playing great football. And I just think he wouldn't have ended up in a better situation, like the running backs we talked about, like Saquon in Philly, or like D. Hen and the Ravens. Those are perfect situations for these free agent guys. And I think Russ is in the best possible situation, and he's flourishing.
And the culture, to go back to it, and I know RC can speak on this to a different level than we can, we have stepped into the culture, put our toe into the Pittsburgh culture. Bro, when I see C-Hamp, B-Mac, Pot, Footy, all the boys, Peasy, and all the boys between Ryan and Joey Porter, I've been embraced by the Pittsburgh Steelers culture, and a lot of teams use the word culture. That is really a culture there. We go to that golf tournament, and I start seeing the boys. Now when I see them in the airport, I start seeing it's a family. And that's what I think Russ is seeing now, is that it almost has to be jaw-dropping to walk in, because it dropped my drawers. My drawers, it didn't drop my drawers, did it?
You're so nasty.
I always, my mind goes different ways. But when we started going to Pittsburgh with RC and meeting them people, now it's just different. Like, oh, you inside the door. You in the living room now. Mm-hmm. We let you in the living room, and now every time I see Ike randomly in the world and all those dudes, they be like, Crowder, what's up? It is really a culture up there, and I think that was the best thing for Russ's career, was to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so to me, Russell Wilson found his Russell Wilson. On this show, we infamously had a conversation about Sierra and Russ, and for whatever anybody felt, it was what it was. But the thing I said at the end of it was, she found somebody that truly loves her. And Russ mentioned that sometimes people think his positivity is fake. But he's like, no, I just think positively. So does Mike Tomlin. And you come from a place in Denver where you had incompetence the first year in Nathaniel Hackett, and you had a coach that truly didn't want to be with you. You weren't his pick. You weren't the guy that played quarterback or behaved in the way that he wanted you to behave. He didn't have a connection to you, so he mistreats you. He beats you down. He embarrasses you publicly, right? And then now you move to this new place where they like, no, like, we value you. Mm-hmm. You move to a coach that is more than competent. And on top of being more than competent, he also embraces who you are. He's not asking you to change and behave in a different way. He's not asking you to be set apart in any way. He's asking you to become a part of this family, which is bigger than culture, right? You're not hearing the stories about Russ that even in his success in Seattle that you heard, right? You're hearing a leader. You're hearing a part of the locker room. And Mike T has punched all the right buttons in this. It's okay. You can have your 6 games to get healthy, and when you do, you'll be the starting quarterback. Me, I love Justin Fields. I got to meet him when I was 17. I think he's ultimately talented. He could throw the ball. He could run the ball. I was like, Justin Fields should be the quarterback. Mike T said, I'm compensated well to make these decisions, and Russell Wilson is my guy. And since then, all he's done is empower him. Since then, all he's done is tell him the same way sometimes a woman or a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend needs you to tell them you are worthy, right? You are deserving. You are beautiful. Mm-hmm. And here, you are valued in a way that we believe if we make you and give you an opportunity to be your best self, you're going to make us our best selves. And that's what we're seeing from Russell Wilson. To me, he's playing at a level that's different than what he played in Seattle, but even better because I watched those dudes follow Russell Wilson. I don't feel like the Seattle Seahawks followed Russell Wilson. They had Marshawn Lynch. They had the Legion of Boom. This Pittsburgh Steelers team, which has had Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer, this culture that has a Hall of Fame head coach, has had that coach anoint and appoint a quarterback that he believes you can follow and win. And I think Russ is playing well in that positivity and also giving that back to a locker room that I felt like needed it after working through Kenny Pickett, after Ben Roethlisberger. And what I love about that conference is, as great as Russ is playing, he's not my favorite quarterback in the AFC North. There's actually no question who my favorite quarterback is, and it's Jameis Winston.
You threw a curve ball. We got Lamar Jackson.
Okay, I see RC going to be silly this afternoon.
We got LSU, Joe Burrow.
I see RC came with his shoes off, but he want to act crazy.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
is acting real crazy, bro.
Bro, but for real, my dog said, I hope the Lord delivers me from these pick sixes. Just
Jesus gonna have him see that dude sitting underneath. The Lord and Savior gonna see that man is playing heavy on the out.
Okay, so here's my thing about Jameis. And I really want to ask this question, right? A locker room is a place where truly authenticity is prioritized, right? Because we all come from different walks of life, right? They're going to be the Freddies that come from down bottom in Florida who barely talks, right? But we accept them because of the way he treats us all. We accept him because of the way he works. He ain't got to talk, right? He'll talk when he wants to. You got the Channings, that's the boy from Atlanta who likes to party and club. You know what I'm saying? You got Ryan who went to private school. You know what I'm saying? So you got all these different people and you have this melting pot. But the one thing that could get you shunned or put on the outside is if you fake it, right? Jameis is a lot, bro. And so if he's not authentically himself, people would push that away. What does it say about a dude, bro, that has now been the backup on 2 separate teams and seems like the favorite player on both of those teams as a backup?
It just goes back to his faith. We joke about him saying the Lord is going to deliver him from the pick sixes, but just the growth and maturation over the years with Jameis, from the crab leg incident in Tallahassee.
That's not funny.
To now God anointed him and he made sure he ain't steal no more crab legs. But no, man, he delivered him from the crab legs. Jameis is a special person, overall. He's a guy who, he's accepted his role. You never hear him complain. You never hear him getting out of character in any other moment. He's forever been in the middle of the pregame huddle trying to get the guys ready to go, and I don't want to say go to battle, but, battle their opponent right out there. And to be able to see him now in year 10, doing the same things, doing the exact same thing. So you gotta, you want to have fun with it. You know, he keeps everybody light, and they need that in those moments. But the most important part is Jameis knowing who he is. You know, there aren't a lot of guys that are going to get out there and talk about their faith, talk about what they believe in God and what God is going to do for them and what God has done for them. So I love every bit of Jameis for that particular reason. Man, and he keeps me light. He keeps me laughing, man. I appreciate him.
Bro, Jameis, I'll bring it back to Jameis' success and his respect in the locker room is why our show works. It's because he's consistent, and that's him. You laugh at first when he does all that, but then he does the anointing, and then he has a track record, and everything he does, you kind of like, what? Is he crazy? He's not. He's Jameis. And that's the thing that I tell people all the time about y'all. They be like, man, Freddie don't really talk that much. I be like, bro, he doesn't dislike you. Motherfucker just quiet. Like, Freddie just quiet. Like, Freddie ain't gonna sit at the bar and be the center of attention.
Yeah.
RC has these strong opinions. All the time I be like, no, man, when that man feels something, he's gonna defend it. And there's nothing you're gonna say. And if you say something, he's gonna respond. It's not like that.
Right.
When people meet me, they like, oh, you're really that dude. Yeah, and I'm gonna cuss and I'm gonna say words that you're not comfortable with. Right. But you can kiss my ass if you don't like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. It is what it is. And that's what Jameis is, and that's what I didn't know with the crab legs and just different things he did when they made him the dude and different teams was on. Man, the consistency of what he does is great for a team. Him being the quarterback, him being the leader, and doing that, I guarantee, and the stories haven't came, I guarantee it's empowered young guys to be themselves. Because him being that at that level, he double-digit dude now, fellas. It's funny, people talk about Jameis like he's a puppy. Oh, yeah, Jameis, he's coming. Oh, they're going to start Jameis. Man, Jameis been in this league. Jameis set. Jameis got kids. Jameis married. But the way he approaches it is such him and so consistent for years. And that's what I love about him. And I would like other players to be more like Jameis and not just fall into the pack of what you think people are going to be. Don't follow the pack. Be yourself. Shit. And Jameis is himself consistently all the time, and I really like Jameis Winston. And I hope somebody gives him the chance to run a team because they always put him to that back burner and he starts. He going to throw some damn interceptions now. But he going to throw some damn touchdowns. What did he throw for 495?
He can throw that ball,
Bro,
man. He can throw the ball.
He has a howitzer at the end of his shoulder. Just make some better decisions in that third quarter. But everybody knows what Jameis can do. I love Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I think it's cool that Jameis is sort of become this beloved figure. And you know what it is, man. On most teams, like, the best position to play is backup quarterback because you can normally just fly under the radar and nobody actually knows you're there and you hope they never need you and you got to go out and prove that you can actually play or not, right? But we know that Jameis can play. I just think it says so much. And I was talking to a player on their team on the sideline and he said, you know, Jameis has been good for this team because Deshaun is really a quiet person, right? He says, he's like, Deshaun doesn't talk a lot. He says, and Jameis over-communicates. And he said, at first, it's a lot until you realize that's just authentic. And that's how much he cares. And that's how much energy he has for not only the game, but the people in the locker room. You know, he was mic'd up on Hard Knocks, and he walked up to the guy that runs the grounds crew, and he said, I forgot to thank you.
Yeah.
Right, I forgot, because you made that field, and I saw you had all your guys around. Y'all made that field the best field to play on in the snow. Whether that's true or not, Jameis don't know. It's the first time he's ever played in snow, right? But what he did know is that they were working at their job as hard as he was working at his job. And you know how it is, Chan. The way you treat the janitor is the way you're going to treat the head of the business. You know what I'm saying? And so for Jameis Winston, his level of commitment to each person inside the whole organization is a level of true excellence. I'm going to give you all of me. And so, yeah, like the speeches are funny because Jameis is just funny. Yeah. And, you know, it's like that, you know, that person that be on fire for Jesus, right? Like when they first give their life to Christ and you ask them a question, hey, man, how you doing? Blessed and highly favored. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, where you going? Wherever the Lord may lead me. My steps are ordered in his path. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you can't, like no matter. It was like when we did DeMario Davis, I was just trying to give him like a football question and because that's what they truly feel. And so like the cool part to me is Jameis does operate as a man that believes he is guided by a higher power. And I think that adds something to your team when it's real and when it's authentic and when it's not fake. But also, I got to be on the sideline for that last 2-minute drive after the pick six to Benito. The anticipation, the velocity and accuracy of the football, the confidence and knowledge of where it was going and being in control of the situation. It was just high-level quarterback play. And when he threw the interception to Raekwon McMillan at the end, I just watched him walk off. And, you know, like Jameis is like knock-kneed, bow-leg, and pigeon-toed. You know what I'm saying? So it was like
the trifecta.
Yeah. It was like Kenny Smith and Michael Jordan and everybody just walked off the sideline together, and I just watched him talk to himself and beat himself up over it because it mattered to him so much. Yes. And I think like that's the type of dude, man, no matter what the situation is, you can get behind. And I don't know if Jameis is right for every team. I think Jameis is right for that team right now. And I believe that, you know, he's doing a good job, and I do hope he's delivered from his pick sixes.
He's one of the best 32 in the world.
But I agree.
And I think that's why I was saying I hope he gets an opportunity next year. If it's in Cleveland or wherever it is, hope somebody gives him an opportunity to run a team. Because I think their offense can be good.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. It's the holiday season, and there's a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for my co-hosts, Freddie T and Channing Crowder. I'm also thankful that right now you can get NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV for the rest of the regular season for only $209. And that's exactly what you need as we head into the playoffs. And what's great, I just had the best Sunday using the multi-view function. I mean, you had the Commanders game that was going crazy. The Titans were playing great against the Houston Texans, and the Carolina Panthers were making a comeback against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I couldn't just pick one game to watch. So I had all three of the games up at once, and the other game I had on, I mean, who really cared? But you could get 4 of them at one time. So thank yourself this holiday season. Get NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV for the rest of the regular season for only $209. And sign up now at youtube.com/pivotpod. Terms and embargoes apply. Device and content restrictions apply. No cancellations. Freddie T, what happened down there in Jacksonville this week, dog?
Down in Duval, man, Azeez happened, man. He tried to put my dog to sleep, you know, but, you know, aside from that, man, I kid around about that, but I guess first and foremost, it's about Trevor's health. You know, the stories are surrounding Azeez and the hit and whether it was dirty or not, and if she should be suspended, all that stuff. But I think more importantly, bigger conversation is about Trevor much as it was about Tua, his short-term and long-term impact of this type of hit, because it's right under there. He went into that fencing position. But yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Football is so fast, you know, and you do that and things happen. And as much as they try to change the rules and make the game safe, a lot of that stuff still is going to seep through. There's going to be some leakage because the game is just nanosecond quick. You know, Tom even came out and said that maybe the quarterback should slide earlier. Mm-hmm. But here you have a situation with a guy who is a repeat offender in Azeez. I don't care about the suspension and what the league did. He's an old school player stuck in a modernized game. I mean, because he's out there flying around like you. He's out there flying around like you, RC. If the quarterback ain't declared down, he's going to sprint through you, unfortunately. I did see him hit Tony Pollard cleanly out of bounds not too long ago. I saw him go at Caleb Williams, a quarterback who's going out of bounds. But Caleb also has a history of going out, coming back in, playing that game, trying to get an extra yard. That's why Dan Campbell also said, hit his ass when he's in bounds. So he didn't get flagged for Caleb, but the extra stuff he did on the sideline afterwards were kind of, you can look at it as dirty, right?
When he slapped the dude that pushed him?
He hit the running back. He hit the running back. So my whole thing is, the suspension is what it is. He has to do the time. They've seen him on tape on multiple occasions, so they said, all right, we're going to slow you down. We're going to get your attention. He even choked Brady. Some people like to be choked, but that's a whole different conversation. Don't look at me like that,
Man,
dog.
you so nasty. You nasty.
But no, you know, just the unfortunate situation for Trevor. I hope Trevor's okay more than I hope, you know, the suspension with Azeez. He's a good player, man. Just a bad time. He has to start pulling up a little bit on those quarterbacks, though.
He can play ball. And all them plays he's playing ball, they put up this, I saw he put up his suspension list. Fighting, he on the sideline, running backs run down the sideline, he's a foot out, and the dude throws his body into him. Linebacker and safety are different football positions than what everybody else plays. Corners don't want to touch anybody. The fat boys aren't over there. They don't get close to the sideline because they're fat and they can't run that fast to get over there. Quarterbacks are graceful little pretty boys. It's not the position that linebackers and safeties play. They are moving at 20 miles per hour real fast in one direction. Trevor ran right up on this man. I'm 6 feet away from you, and now you want to slide and get down on your booty. No, slide earlier. But they're trying to fight for yards. So they're trying to edge the system. Patrick Mahomes does it all the time. He gets all the penalty flags. He'll run down the sideline. Player comes up to him. He'll run up and jump out, and they push him, and now it's 15 yards. They're playing the game. So as a defender, and I'm not saying, I think it's old boy, they're like, oh, you can't play defense anymore. You can bust a running back's ass. You can knock, hit tight ends and all that stuff. You can do what we used to do. But with the quarterback position, they're so protected now, and it's justified because they're making $250 million, and nobody wants to lose their quarterback that takes down finances. I understand the reasoning behind it. But them quarterbacks, if you run up on a man, they need to have something more than if you run up on a man and I'm 3 feet away from you and I'm running 20 miles per hour and now you want to fall on your booty? No, too close. It's too close. It has to be separated, and the refs need to know and the quarterbacks need to know you can't go get this first yard when this dude's coming. That means first down. You can't go get you another 6 feet. You need to get your ass down, and you're going to get whacked because you play football.
It's all reactionary.
It's not reactionary. I hate when Patrick Mahomes does it. I hate when Trevor was too close to Azeez. He should have slid 2 yards before, and Azeez would have flew over top of him. He slid too late because he was trying to get an extra yard because they know the rules is that if this bitch binks my helmet, I'm going to get 15 yards. And now he's sitting there asleep. That's what happened. How would you tell Azeez to do it different? Wait for him like we seen. You seen the video? Wait for him like, who was it? Pickett to fake slide and then haul ass, or wait for it when Josh Allen did a little stutter feet and then ran the fucking safety over and ran for a touchdown. What are we supposed to do defensively?
So as a person that was fined very often, right? My daughter, Jaden, sent me like a funny tweet, and God rest his soul because King Vaughn's no longer alive. But I tweeted, I was like, I thought it was unnecessary. And I understood the ejection. And somebody tweeted, this is like King Vaughn saying stop the violence, right? Because obviously he was
to bust people in the head.
Yeah. And so I think the problem I have is I do deem the hit unnecessary because even as he's going to the ground, he went to the shoulder neck area with his forearm, right? That's intentional because if I'm shooting at his legs because I expect him to fall, or if I'm going to tackle him, I end up in a different position. My thought always was, as the quarterback is running to me, I don't care if your thought is to slide. When I try to hit you in your chest, you gon' slide, or I'm gonna flip you, right? Or I'm a deliver a blow or a crushing hit that a quarterback doesn't want to get. So I would always aim at their chest and almost sort of launch because you're a runner now. And if you slide, you'll slide under me. And if you don't slide, they're going to be coming cart you off of here. Mm-hmm. And such is life. You shouldn't have did it. And so when I look at the Azeez hit, I do see where he could have done things differently. And I believe him looking at it now, he sees that. I also believe people are responding to the reaction. I don't believe, and I'm no medical doctor, I don't believe that Trevor Lawrence was out because of the hit. I believe he was out because his head hit the ground. Wow. Right? And then once he did that, he was in the fencing position. And so I thought he'd get suspended. I didn't believe that he'd get suspended for 3 games. And I don't believe we should paint Azeez Al-Shaair as Vontaze Burfict because he's not him.
No.
Right? He's not, it doesn't seem that week after week he's intentionally going out to injure people on the opposing side. I do have an issue with Jon Runyan, who's the vice president of policies or wherever, because here's what he said or what he put out in response to the Azeez Al-Shaair hit. Your lack of sportsmanship and respect for the game of football and all those who play, coach, and enjoy watching it is troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL. Your continued disregard for NFL playing rules put the health and safety of both you and your opponents in jeopardy and will not be tolerated. I played this game as close to the line as they would possibly allow me to, and as the rules changed, I tried to change and adjust with it. Azeez Al-Shaair has always played the game this way, right? And what you're supposed to do when you sit in that position as the vice president of policy and regulation, you're supposed to tell me what I can do better, but you're not supposed to make me look like a pariah to the rest of the world because eventually I'm gonna wear that logo again. Mm-hmm. And last I checked, Jon Runyan was one of the dirtiest mother effers that's ever played this game. In 2006, voted by the players, he was second only to Rodney Harrison in dirtiest players. There's videos of him jumping up and spearing people in the pile. So at least you should understand, right? Like I understand enough of the way I played the game to look at him and say, okay, this one play or these plays where he's playing the game on the edge doesn't say that he doesn't respect other players. It doesn't say that he doesn't respect the game. It doesn't say that he can't understand what it is to protect the brotherhood, right? And if you haven't had a conversation with him, if you haven't brought him in and asked him why these things or why that particular thing has happened, you can't go out and denigrate his character when you was a dirty motherfucker too. Right? But you go get these dudes who forget they played the game, right? Forget they were trash individuals when they played the game. Forget they was dirty as hell. And then want to look at these other young men and say what they are and who they are and denigrate their characters to the rest of the world because the rest of the world doesn't know who you were when you did it. I think that he should have been ejected. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars should have fought him. Because that's your job, to protect your guy and your guy laying on the field. I think the NFL's job is to protect Trevor Lawrence and say that we cannot have this in our game. Their job is also to protect Azeez Al-Shaair as long as he's a part of your brotherhood and a part of what you do and not treat this man like he's some criminal because he plays the game hard. And so to me, that's my problem, is that like we're all a part of it. The ones you think do right all the times and the ones you don't. Like, unless this man is away from the field, bro, doing things that continuously tarnish the shield, don't do him like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And say to him, this is how you could have done this better. And if you do this better going forward, we fully embrace you into the brotherhood of the NFL.
Guys that made this league played that way. They love Jack Tatum. I can go back, Lawrence Taylor, my favorite player. Let's go back and think about the guys that would literally just fuck people up. And it's why people love the game. You want to go with James. Like, if I really think about it, I could name a bunch. Sean T broke a damn punter's chest in a Pro Bowl. And they love it. And they play. It kills me that they used to play jacked up. And they had to stop broadcasting jacked up. Like, the people that made this game of all the people, Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary. Now my mind is going about guys that I love watching. Ray used to F people up. I don't want to cuss too much because I'm getting excited. And now they're gonna alienate Azeez. No, he's playing the game the way he saw other people play it. And this one hit doesn't make him. And that's what I hate when they make people. It's funny, I always say the thing when they wanted to make me this monster. And I'm like, bro, like, look at the entire business. I don't know. Azeez has played for years, hundreds of snaps.
And this ain't been who he was. Like, we've never associated him with being like, oh, this dude's dirty.
I'm scared of him.
Yeah.
Then to put him in I seen people put him in the category of Vontaze Burfict. No. I love that you said that. No. But to say that this is not the spirit of the game, come on, man. That Runyon dude, he ran me hot with that. This man's out there playing hard. He's out there leading the team. He's actually the spirit, the soul of that damn Houston defense because people around him, as you know, love dudes like that. That's gonna go out there and put everything on the line, 100 miles per hour every single play. That's not what football's supposed to be. When I remember talking to GMs coming out, and when I got arrested, and they asked me, they were like, "Hey, you've been in some trouble. What happened?" I said, "I get in a bunch of bar fights. Because when dudes call me names or say something slick to me, I'm gonna slap them." Was it Mike Tice? I think he was with the Vikings at the time. He was like, "Yeah, a middle linebacker that enjoys fighting. Not a big problem for me."
That sounds like Mike Tyson.
You know what I'm saying?
That is Mike
and
Tyson,
that's the
100%.
point is that you wanna pick and choose when you wanna criticize. This is a violent game. It's funny, Freddie, because you even said it. You even calmed down when you said the word violent. When I was high school coaching, they told me, stop telling your players to play violent. This is violent game. Violent hands off the line. Violent at the redirect point. Violent at this. And now they want to say, oh, no, this is not how the football game is. This is what football is. You can do whatever, put the rules up. I understand player protection, but this is a violent game. Football is a violent game. I hope people understand that.
But football, from the evolution of it and where we are now in 2024, what they're trying to make the game is they always go back to safety, player safety, and they're going to have, from the top office, they're going to have to make those sort of remarks to what they used to always tell us, protect the integrity of the shield. That's, regardless of how nasty they were in their time, it always going to come back to that. They don't care who it comes from, but that message has to come out. And unfortunately, Azeez was the scapegoat this time around to try to help them get that message out. And it was a high-profile quarterback, too. I think it was driven a lot by who the other person was on the other end as well.
Yeah, I think, like one of those things is a teachable and learning moment. And I feel like the NFL failed not only its viewers and fans, but its true brotherhood by their response. And not the response of suspending him, but the words used in doing it. It's my favorite time of year. It's the holiday season, and there's no greater gift than the gift of football. An NFL Sunday ticket on YouTube TV is the perfect gift for anyone. And you can get NFL Sunday ticket on YouTube TV for only $209 for the rest of the regular season. It's the perfect time to tap in. And trust me, this is the way that you want to watch football, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. So treat yourself this holiday season and bundle NFL Sunday ticket and YouTube TV and watch every game every Sunday. Sign up now at youtube.com/pivotpod. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday ticket for out-of-market games. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply. I think this is a good time to ask you guys a question. Tell me something that you have learned in the last month.
I'll go first on this one, man. Emotions, bro. Controlling your emotions. It was a reminder, not necessarily something new, but in the midst of the division that was sort of brought back in the country around the elections and everything, emotions ran high for all sorts of people that were Republican, Democrat, pro-Trump, not pro-Trump, or whatever. It reminded me that that's all politics, and do not let others dictate my emotions. Yeah, I didn't agree with everything and all this other stuff that sort of happened, but I myself made sure I didn't go out and comment certain things. I didn't post certain things. I have to continue to push forward and live my life in the right manner. So, and it's short for me, man. Just always maintaining your emotions and not allow other people to dictate that for you. Because you can find yourself going down the wrong path if you do.
I would say, and it's off the board, the over-under on this one should be under. It's that I got teenagers now. And Chan's 13, Ava's 11, and the emotions are kicking in, the hormones are kicking in. And you used to be able to tell them what to do, and now you have to ask them how they feel about it. You used to be able to say, you know what I'm saying, don't do that, don't do this, but it's bigger than right and wrong now. It's the outside influences, it's the social media stuff, it's the emotional side of it. It's just the, like, I'm seeing the kids change where it's not, I got to turn more from dictator daddy to like, why do you feel that way about this? And really talk to them and sit them down and have grown people conversations. You know what I'm saying? Open conversations with them. Because it's not, you know, you got a C, go get a B. It's deeper than that. It's, I like Brad, or I like Tanya, and Tanya likes Jim, but I like Tanya, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, man, fuck Tanya, Jim. Like, you can't just, no, you can't. My natural reaction is just an answer. And I spoke about it before where I want to, like, I think everything has an equal sign behind it. And now with my two older ones, man, everything doesn't have an equal sign. It's more to it now. It's that thing. And y'all told me, actually, other people told me, and a lot of people say it in jest, and I always laughed at it until recently. Like you said, I don't say last month, last 3 or 4 months. It's like, oh, how old your kid? Oh, I got an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and 1 year. Oh, those are the good times. And people joke about it. Oh, those are the good times. And now I'm getting these teenagers, and I'm like, I need to learn more to communicate. I can't just tell you what to do because I don't know how Taylor feels about Jim. But I know this shouldn't be on your mind, but I can't tell you fuck Taylor because you obviously have emotions for her. Like, you actually, you know what I'm saying? And they're getting that. So just communication with my children is something that myself and Asia, my wife, we're working on. We talk about too. Who gonna jump on? Who gonna handle this one? Cause you see what, you know what I'm saying? You see what Chan was talking about yesterday. Do you want to talk to him about it? I want to talk to him about it. So just really communicating with kids is something I've learned where there's not 2 + 2 = 4 anymore. It's a lot deeper than that now.
Yeah, I think the last month I've learned a ton of things. I think the major thing to me that sticks out is that life goes on. And you know that, right? Like, we've had people we truly care about in the gravest of sins or the most extreme of sins pass, you know, and they pass on Tuesday and you grieve them, but if you wake up on Wednesday, like, you live life. And these may be people who are just part of your everyday, right? And you still may pick up the phone to call them at that time, but once you realize they aren't there, like, you move on. And in the simplest sense, it's like everybody has their own thing. Like, everybody has an issue. Their issues may be bigger or smaller than yours, but they're going about their life trying to figure out those things. And sometimes you come into contact with those people, or those people become a part of your life, and initially you feel like this is going to be a significant part of who I am and what I am. And it's going to last this long, or it could last forever. And then once that's gone, it's like, oh, crap, I got to keep it moving. Because you know that that entity, that person, that business, that organization is going to keep it moving as well. And it's taught me, and I think, and like I already kind of knew this, is that like, I'm so responsible for me, right? Like, even though life is communal, and we live life in this way where I want to succeed along with you two so that you succeed as well. But you got to do everything you could possibly do for Channing to succeed and be the best he could possibly be and grow to be able to create a life for himself and his own. The same for Fred, the same for me. And if those things can like intertwine and we can both benefit from it, then we do it. But what I learned is when people feel like, or when entities feel like that's not what's happening, they could just be through with you. You know what I'm saying? And your process is, what energy am I going to return? Right? Like, if somebody says, I'm done, what do you say? I don't want to be done. Here's why I don't want to be done. Here's why you shouldn't be done with me. If somebody says it's time to move on, what do you say? And I think your response, I've learned that your response to adversity negativity to rejection are truly the moments in life that you grow. When everything's like cool and life is great, it's not a lot of growth that takes place, right? You may feel like you have a lot of things that go well, but it's not necessarily growth, because growth comes when things are torn down and have to be rebuilt. And so like that's what like I learned this month is like, hey, you may have the expectations that life is gonna go a certain way, or you actually may feel like this is the season that God has given you to grow, and you could be totally wrong. And when you're wrong, what do you do? How do you fix it? How do you repair it? And like that's what's been what I've been thinking about a lot. And it made me think about Travarius Ward and his family lost their daughter, Amani Joy. Trent Williams and his family lost their son, Trent Williams Jr., after losing his twin during the pregnancy. And I feel like because of my job, we've been so focused on how difficult it's been for the San Francisco 49ers to handle the losses of players. When they have two football players that have lost children, a pain, a loss, a devastation that I truly can't imagine and don't want to live through. And for me, it hits a little closer because like I know them both as people, right? I played with Trent when he was young in Washington. I trained Mooney in Louisiana. And it's like these are good dudes. And like these are dudes who want to raise their families and who love their children. And to see Travarius post about the time he got to spend with his daughter, for Trent to be there, to get to say goodbye to his son, I just want to point out that these are professional football players. These are Pro Bowl players. Trent Williams is a Hall of Famer. And both of these men are multi-millionaires, and they'd give it all away to have their children back. Mm-hmm. They change the great existences they get to live to raise those kids. And I think sometimes we don't acknowledge that like these people who we use for entertainment are just human as well. And we want to talk about, oh, they aren't playing well, oh, they aren't the same. And like you truly just never know what they're actually going through. And so from my heart to theirs, from us as the pivot to them and their families, man, my heart and my prayers and my condolences goes out to the Williams family, to the Ward family. I pray that your babies' souls are happy and at peace now. And as a family, I know that you never repair the wound that this causes, but I pray that at some point they can have peace with it as well.
Yeah, RC, I want to add to that too, man. It's really tough to try and identify how those guys are feeling. You know, I can't imagine losing a child. I've always said I certainly will hope that God take me before he take any of my kids from me. But just the other day, and I've had this conversation before when asked about, you know, people wanting to make a decision if they should let their children play football. Simple question. Like, they're afraid to let their children play football. In the stadium the other day in Jacksonville, the lady, she said her son plays soccer. He's great at soccer, but he wants to play football. And I immediately told her right then and there, let him play. If this is something he wants to do not deprive him of that opportunity. This is an opportunity for him to feel joy in his life. This is an opportunity for him to have fun, to have a smile on his face. And you should feel that through him in your body. And I explained to her what happens when you have kids that are stillborn. You have families that have to deal with burying a child that they haven't had an opportunity to see smile yet. So I believe this is a reminder. Hopefully this young lady sees this episode and kind of get a full understanding of what I was trying to say. Let your kids go out there and just live life. You only got one shot. You know, introduce them, put them in arenas, and see how they respond. Expose them. And if they want to go there and they're passionate about it and they love it and it's bringing them laughter and smiles and camaraderie, that's life, right? Let them go and live and be happy in that. And whatever happens after that, that's all God's plan. So, again, I hope she sees this, but we should never deprive our children of what could be their ultimate happiness, ever.
I would say with that, there's no such thing as a superhero. There's no Spider-Mans, there's no Batmans, there's no Supermans, there's no Hulks, there's no Thanoses. Like, the movies are cool, but I think athletes are the closest thing that can be pictured as that because of the platform they have, sometimes the physical attributes they have, the following they have, the respect they have. Every rock has a rock. Y'all know what I'm saying? So they look at these people as these godly figures, but for athletes, if you talk to them enough, and I know who y'all's rocks are because I've been around y'all enough. Every rock has a rock. So you look at these dudes, these patriarchs, these big guys running families, owning businesses, having these dynasties. People ask me all the time. They're like, because, you know, I do all that crazy stuff, the hog hunting, the gator wrestling, all the stories. They say, what are you scared of? And the real answer is something that happened to my babies. That's what keeps me going. My family keeps me going. My family makes me want to work. My family made me want to play ball. My family makes me want to keep doing all the businesses and things and this podcast. And that's the rock. So that's what I think people overlook sometimes, is where you want to criticize a guy on the field, but you just lost a baby? I remember I took paternity leave from the radio station when Chaz was born. They gave me hell. They really did. What, paternity leave? Was it? I said, man, I had my second son. I'm gonna be home with the baby. I want to stay up at night with him. I want to feed him this bottle. I want to put him in the swing. I want to sit and watch Sports Center while he's sitting there swinging with this music on. I want to be there for my son. But you don't have no nipples. You can't feed him. I said, well, Asia a pump. And I'll have a little bottle throughout the night. You know, like, people don't really, like, it's funny. They look at these athletes like these bro, there's no such thing as the Hulk. And however strong you are as a person, as a player, as a man, there's something behind that. And I just want people to always really figure that out. Whoever that guy is to you, that ultimate goal. I want my son to be FredTaylor. I want my son to be Ryan Clark. Ryan needs something that you don't know about to become Ryan Clark and to stay Ryan Clark. You need something behind you, a moving force behind you, to keep you being FredTaylor and that made you FredTaylor. I just want people to really understand that. So for you to, like, when these tough superhero guys have tough times in their life, it's just as tough as your times. They got money, yeah. Could he pay? Could they pay for their babies to still be alive? Why the fuck are you bringing up money right now? Can finances, anything, do something for this hard time in this human's life? They can't. Don't put their job or their success on their emotions and their feelings. And it's happened to all of us, to be honest. It happened to me, it happens to all of us, I know. But just understand that everybody you see as the rock of a situation, there's a rock behind them, and that rock needs a rock behind them. And that's why they say the family, the system, the support system you have, and that's why everybody has those, because, yeah, it's no real anchors. It's no anchors. There's always something behind those anchors.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect place to end the show. Just for people, man, during this holiday season, as you do get times to spend with your family, understand there's so many people that are hurting. And I forget who I was with that brought it up and said, you sometimes forget how difficult holidays can be for people who are spending their first holidays without loved ones, and particular people in their lives that have made extreme impact. So to all those people, our heart goes out to you. Continue to stay strong. Continue to stay prayed up. This has been The Pivot, 3-Man Friday. We'll see y'all on Tuesday.
Peace.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.